Welcome to Jersey Crypto, where I talk how I like to talk and teach you a little something, not financial advice. So Hedera is showing a little bit of movement in the market. My introduction to Hedera was probably early 2020. And they were one of the first coins with like a governing council. Like nothing else really had that. And at the time, there was probably they had a lot of big names: Boeing, Google, IBM, some financial companies, whatever. There was probably like 20 big names, and the whole thing on Hedera is it's not a blockchain. It's a consensus algorithm that's like basically it's like it's like telephone, but like accurate. You know what I mean? Because it's permanent. Each conversation's permanent. So the last conversation is going to prove the next conversation, and so on and so on. And they can branch out. It's almost like a grid instead of a linear chain. It's more of like a grid because one person can talk to two people and pass on information a little bit faster. Um, that was my take on it. So when I say people, it could be contracts, any of that stuff, trading NFTs, all of that. Like they can offer you everything that any other blockchain offers you more efficiently. You could have multi-layer transactions happening all simultaneously. That's why they're like 100,000 transactions per second capable. They've had more transactions in the past year or something than Ethereum has had in its existence. But so the governing council it's all huge companies, but all around the world, and they all have a say in the direction. Um, which some people say, oh, that's not totally decentralized, but these companies don't have the exact same outlook, and they don't have, if you're a airline company or you're a tech company, you might do a little business together, but you're serving a different product. So in order to cater to all of your needs, you're going to put a lot of weight on things that, a tech company is not going to put weight on. So it's super decentralized. It's I think they did it in a really smart way, and they basically advertise towards huge corporations, and it's decentralized within the corporation atmosphere. So you owning the coins are running the transactions. There is a cost. That's the whole point of it being known as a currency. So the cost of a transaction is a fraction of a Hashgraph or the Hedera token H bar. So depending on how valuable these transactions end up being, if the transaction cost is a fraction of an H bar, which is Hedera, then the whole coin is going to be more valuable than each transaction. So if a transaction costs 0.001 H bar, that's a thousandth of an H bar, and then that transaction ends up being worth, let's think about Ethereum, Ethereum transactions worth $70. So then you multiply 70 times 1,000. That's 70,000. Now that I don't know, those numbers are just not totally made up because I think it is 0.001 H bar. It's just an H bar is 34 cents right now. So, when you take a thousandth of that, it's a fraction of a penny. But as the value of the transaction goes up, the value of the coin goes up. That's what people don't understand. So Ethereum, $70 to make a transaction sometimes. I think it's been over $100. I think I've lost 200 something dollars fucking up in doing a transaction through Ethereum just trying to figure out Uniswap and like losing most of the coin that I was trading and everything else because that's how expensive it is to do anything on there. So if you don't know what you're doing, I highly recommend you not move money around with Ethereum. Now, H bar is totally different. You can practice moving around H bar because it costs a lot less. It's affordable right now. As soon as they start to implicate these transactions in these huge corporations, that who knows exactly what the transaction is going to be. They could be running entire websites on so many, hashes in the graph, and all the value of that website might up the value of the coin just because of the transactions are so valuable. Imagine all of Google running on Hedera. I could just see that coin, no matter 50 billion coins or not. You're talking trillions and trillions of dollars worth of transactions that are going to be made on their technology. Now, the coin has potential to pump. It's moved from, 25 cents to 34 cents. It's showing volatility. We're in a bull market. Usually, once coins start coiling up like that, they're going to spike in a direction. And, nothing's tanking right now. The market did take a dip, probably leveled out, gained back 50% of what it dropped. Um, but Hedera could be a good one right now, not financial advice. Now, if you buy a coin like this for 34 cents, you put in literally whatever money you can. Accumulate right now may not be the best time to accumulate, but it's a good time for you to get into the market, see a coin move up 600-700%. You might end up making it's the same thing turning $50 into $500 or turning $1,000 into $10,000. You're going to understand the potential of how the value can move upwards. And the higher it goes, the less volatile because people hold things that are valuable. They don't want to move them around as much, especially if they've owned them from when they weren't that valuable. So that's why Bitcoin going from 20 to 64,000 and now it's like kind of like it lingered as low as 28,000. It's up to in between that and 40,000. Like that might end up just being the cost of a Bitcoin because that's what people see a cheap Bitcoin as. And if it does spike up to $100,000 this year, that number potentially could go up even. And then imagine the people that bought it at 10, 15, and 20,000. During the earlier stages of this bull market, they that coin might not see that price ever again, and they just acquired more value. They've earned, a more valuable, um, amount with an asset. So Hedera is a maximum transaction type coin. The amount of data that can run through it, the amount of smart contracts, the amount of, you know, DeFi, NFTs, all that stuff. Um, that can all be recorded, same as most other blockchains, except for it can hold more transactions per second because it's more of a grid than a linear chain. So that's my take. It's the simple, not totally technical take on it. And that's Hedera Hashgraph to me in my mind. Now, I know a little bit more about it. Um, what you should do is you research. You pull things from your research that are impressive to you. Maybe you've observed someone else that you know relate to that has similar thoughts and you know said something like that, and you're like, you know what, I can agree with that as well, as far as like, you know, technicalities on these coins and the technology that they're marketing. Because right now, I mean, the technology's there, but they're marketing it so that they can have people start to utilize it. Now, the market is still at such an early stage that the only thing people think about is the price, because all they're thinking is currencies. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again in one of my past videos, is in 2016-17 going into the 17-18 market, there were two kinds of coins. There was currency coins, something meant to use as a currency, and then they had these things called utility tokens, which were still blockchain, but they marketed them as more of a utility, like cloud storage, Sia coin, one of my favorites. Um, that was a utility token. That was one of the first utility tokens I've discovered. And being that there is a utility to it, you can watch that utility grow. And then you can um, compare that to the price. So for Sia coin, when I was first looking and investing into it, it was at a thousandth of a cent, a hundredth of a cent. Either way, you were getting a lot of them for a little bit of money. Now you're looking at a penny. That's already 60, 70, 100%, like 100x from whatever you put in. Now, when you look at the growth of the utility, they're heavy into storage. They're also creating a new internet through Skynet Labs. You can compare the two. So the growth of the storage, how much storage are they providing? How many storage providers are there? Those numbers are growing. The amount of storage they have, it starts with a Q. It's like an insane number. Um, it's super decentralized storage. Anyone could rent out hard drive space. If you can look it up to see how much they suggest to rent out. They even give you advice on how much not to rent out. Like if it's too much, you're not going to utilize all that space, and it's probably not going to be as cost effective. So like they're trying to help people get in easily, rent enough space to make a little bit of money. You know, you could be paying for computers with this kind of income. So you could potentially have a really nice computer, rent out a good amount of hard drive space, and pay for that computer, or a big lump sum of it each month if you're financing it. This is all available stuff to do right now. And Hedera is, you know, with all the transactions they're doing and the companies that are utilizing them, I mean, they have military using them. They have NFT companies using them. They have all kinds of stuff, security system companies, all kinds of stuff. They have so many videos of just like businesses using the technology. They also state that there's a lot of companies using their technology that have no idea, because there's big tech companies that are utilizing their technology, and the people just think that the tech company's taking care of it. So, you know, it's already happening as far as utilization. It's just adding the value to the transaction. You know, we're coming into a new era where everyone's got a smartphone in the front of their face, and most interactions that you have with people are through the smartphone. If I talk to 10 people in real life, I might talk to 100 people on the internet. It might not be a valuable conversation with every one, or long conversation, but you can easily interact with way more people on your phone than in person. So put a value to that. Earn money off of that. That's what this is. It's taking something that's already mobile and just making it way more efficient. So all this stuff is going to run off your cell phone. You're going to have a economy right in front of your face that you can be a part of, and do it through Hedera. Hedera's pumping. You're gonna, no financial advice, but it's pumping for a reason. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of coins out there. Take your top 100 coins, maybe some just under, because those are where you can really, it's a little more of a gamble, but you can really make crazy money. If you find a coin that's going to make it into the top 100 that's like not, then, if it's like 101 biggest market cap, then going up one level is not like a huge gain. But there's some young companies or young cryptocurrency technology whatevers that are, they're good, they're gonna grow, and they're gonna compete. So I'll end this one with the coins that basically I hold is SIA, Hedera, XRP. I have Graph, Gambling on Harvest Finance or Farm, and my NFT exposure is DRC. It's racing, breeding horses, owning a sports track, charging fees, whole ecosystem. It has to do with gambling, collecting, sports, all of that in one. They're going to branch off and have other gambling aspects. I mean, gambling makes money. So, especially to the one providing the service. So, I think putting some money into that, not financial advice. I'm just a Jersey guy. Okay? I don't talk technical. I just talk how I think. So, I hope you enjoyed this one. Videos are kind of long, but you don't have to watch till the end. But what happened at the end gave some things away. Have a good night.